Hi guys, it's Mike and welcome to this quick video on HTML image tags. Okay, so I'm going to show you some real world examples and we're going to do some coding and play with images. So learning objectives this time: recognize image tags and recognize image attributes, and more will be covered very shortly. So what is an image tag? Well, IMG for image. And notice it doesn't have a closing tag. Repeat, it doesn't have a closing tag. It's just pointy brackets, IMG, close pointy brackets, and that is it. So things are getting a little bit simple. The attributes, however, there are three, or three main ones, and these are the ones I use. Okay, and I'll tell you why I use them in a moment. So SRC is the source. So within the image tag, SRC equals inverted commas and then either the file name or the URL. Okay, but alt tag, it's good practice to use these, and I'll show you in a moment. We'll do a demonstration live. Okay, this is alternate text if the image isn't available. Now, for users that use screen readers, they will get the text within the alt description, not the image itself. So think of people using screen readers. And then the title, it's not necessary, but what I found, it's really good for search engine optimization. And what I want to do is break out of these slides right now and show you live. So if I just I mentioned search engine optimization, okay, and in an earlier video I said that I've got a website out there called watercolorpaintings.me.uk. I coded it 10 years ago. I haven't touched it for about 8 years, but if I've coded it right with HTML alone, it should be good to go with Google. So what I'm going to do is type in to google.com watercolor paintings for sale. Okay, and that's it. Hit go. Now it's not at the top because these are ads. Yeah, and I haven't paid any money for mine, but am I on page 1 of Google? So there's 4 ads, then there's some images, scrolling down, and here I am. Okay, this is my web page. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down from the paid ads. But look, Etsy is a huge online business, eBay, and then Saatchi Art. So my tiny little web page, website that I coded 8 years ago, is on page 1 of Google, just underneath eBay and Etsy. How cool is that? So I'm going to go onto the page, and just to show you, and it looks a bit retro, and that's fine. Some people like retro, and I do, but so I'm just going to, I don't know, click on the landscapes. Okay, and what you'll see here are 6 images. So, but in fact, what I'll do is just zoom in a bit so you can see this live. Now, each one of these images has got the code behind it with IMG equals source, or SRC, and the source of the painting is in the file structure. All right, so I'm now going to hover the mouse and you'll see a pop-up, and it says name of the painting with watercolor painting. If I hover here, Golden Pond, watercolor painting. Okay, each of these images is produced with a image HTML tag, IMG. Each will have an SRC attribute for source. The source will be to a folder with all the paintings in it. Also included a title. So what does that mean? When I hover the mouse over one of the paintings, you can see a little pop-up appears. and this is the title in action. There you go. So it gives the name of the painting and the fact that it is a watercolour painting. Golden Pond watercolour painting. Lanikos Priory watercolour painting. And if there's a dark one down here, you'll see it better. So watercolour painting reflections. So the so what here is that each painting has got one of these titles, and I'm absolutely convinced that this has kept the page on Google for many a year. Not just having titles. There's many other little tips and tricks that I'm showing you along the way on this course. So image attributes include the source, the alt, and the title. The first one is definitely required, otherwise there'll be no image on the screen. The second one is really good practice, particularly for users using screen readers, and the title I think is really good for search engine optimization. Okay, so how do we create the code for the source? So we've got a file structure on the left hand side. So I've got index, which isn't in any folder, about 3 lines down, and then I've got 3 folders: the IMG with all the images in it, landscapes with a landscape web page in it, and a wildlife with an animals web page in it. Okay, so on the right hand side, have a look to get at the image called hawk.jpg from the index file. So the index is higher than the folders, so I've got image source equals inverted commas just img, which is the folder it's in, and then hawk.jpg. However, if we wanted the same image on the animals page, okay, so I've got image source equals inverted commas, and don't forget dot dot backslash name of the other folder, and then hawk.jpg. So that dot dot backslash is coming out of the folder we're in and looking for the other one called image. Okay, let's go to our text editor and do some coding. Okay, as usual, on the left I've got the text editor, on the right I've got the browser, and I didn't save that, so refresh, and we're going to play with images. So what I'm looking for is that hawk image, or painting of a hawk that I produced some time ago. So let's go IMG. Can you see that? Let me go a bit bigger. No, it's not going to get bigger. So IMG source equals inverted commas IMG is the folder backslash hawk dot jpg. Save. I'm going to hit return now and see what happens. Whoa. There's a picture, all right, but it's huge. Okay, in fact, let's go small. So here's the hawk, all looking good, but as you can see, it's huge on the page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to introduce a width and call that width 400 pixels. I'm going to hit save and see what happens. There we go. So now we can see the hawk in all its glory. In fact, to demonstrate my excellent artwork, I'll make it a bit bigger so you get the full effect. So there she is. Okay, so now what we've done here is in the source area, okay, within its own inverted commas, is given the folder and the file name of the hawk picture. Then, because it was too huge, I've created a width for it. Okay, so there's another attribute. Now, I don't use those often because I would normally use CSS to do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is create an alternate text. Okay, for ALT equals inverted commas, so painting of red-tailed hawk. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to save, and refresh, and you didn't see any difference, did you? Okay, let's see what would happen if I misnamed the file. Let's just put a 2 in front of it. And now I'm going to refresh, and all of a sudden, you don't see the image, but what you do see is this little icon and the description that I've given it in the alternative text. So, painting of a red-tailed hawk. So, just think of users that use screen readers instead of browsers. They would see exactly that. They wouldn't see the image itself. Okay, so that's all important. What I'm going to do is go back. I'm going to delete the number 2 that I just misnamed the file. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit refresh, and I'll just bring down the. By the way, if you want to play with your browser, I don't know whether you know how to do this, but on a Windows machine, hit Control and then the minus or the plus key, and on a Mac, effectively Command plus and minus, and it just makes the browser go smaller and bigger within the browser itself. Okay, right. Okay, so I've done the Alt. Now what I'm going to do before the closing pointy brackets, I'm going to create a title equals inverted commas Command C for copy and paste. And if I wanted my keywords on my website to include watercolor painting, I've included watercolor painting here of a red-tailed hawk. Okay, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to refresh the page, and we don't see any difference to the hawk itself. But if we hover the mouse, there you see the title that I've just created within the image, within the image tag. Okay, so bearing in mind that if you've got a web page that is rich in photographs, rich in images that you want to promote, either to sell or for whatever reason to up your site's game, then you could use titles against each of your images. Okay, so that's good. So image. Now, how about let's go to my let's go to watercolor paintings again. Where did I find it? Did I close it down? Paintings, sell, bang, yes. Okay, now. Sorry, I was just thinking about something there. So, just have a care when you're using images. Images on your website need to be copyrighted, and that is why I'm going to my paintings. So, because I'm giving myself the permission to use it. All right. So, by all means, use. If you're doing this sort of course with me, you can use these paintings to embed into your files and whatnot. So that's cool. Okay. So I rather like this minimalistic Tuscany farm. So I'm going to open that up, and there's the bigger image, so people can see the beauty of it. However, what we're going to do, we're going to put this on our web page. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's go image. So img with pointy brackets, source equals inverted commas, and then if we right click on the image, and you can do this on any website, but bearing in mind I'm giving you my copyright clearance to do so on here, then copy image location, that's what it says on a Mac. It might say something slightly different on a Windows machine. So I'm going to copy the image location and come back to our image source and paste all that, which is the link from my website of that image. Okay. So, and then what I'm going to do is go Alt equals, I'll just put Mike's painting. I'm not going to put a title on it, it's not necessary, as I mentioned. Right, so I'm going to hit save, go there, and now hit refresh, and guess what? There is the painting. It's not in none of your folders, it's at that link that I've given you permission to use. Okay, and there's my painting. So how cool is that? Now let's see what happens if let me see if I ruin the link. So I'm going to refresh. I'll go big for you. And there, here, right at the bottom, you might not see it because the hawk's in the way. Right at the bottom here, it says Mike's painting, which, funnily enough, is the alt text, that alternate text that I provided. Okay, so I'll just put that inverted commas back and refresh, and we'll see the painting again. Okay, so that's images. You can use your own from your own folders. Make sure images on your site are copyrighted. Always ask the originator if you can use those. And in fact, while we're here, this is a bonus for you. There are some great websites with free images. Unsplash.com is one. Okay. I'm not being paid by Unsplash. I just use these and I think they're brilliant. Pixabay is another one. There's lots of images on there. Okay, there's one called Pexels, which I think is run by the same firm as Pixabay. So there's Pexels.com. They've got loads of images as well. So those are copyright free. Okay, so you can use those willy-nilly, but just be careful what you're putting on your own website, because you could be held to account. Right, let's go back to some slides. So the learning objectives of this was to recognize image tags, recognize the image attributes. Okay, so IMG is the basic tag, but that alone won't show you any image, because you've got to put a source of the image, and it could be in your file structure or it could be somewhere on the interweb. Then the alternate text, and this is for effectively screen reader users. It's not 100% required. It's not the law, but it is really good practice, so please do it. And if you've got an image-rich website that you want to get up the search engines, you can think about using the title tag as well. So, hey, that's it on images. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.